It all started at a fancy engagement party where everyone wore diamonds and designer dresses. But one moment changed everything. Amelia, a bridesmaid known for her wealth and attitude, believed she owned the spotlight wherever she went. She loved showing off her expensive taste, and she never missed a chance to remind people how important she was. That night, she strutted around the grand ballroom, her silk gown sweeping the marble floor, her eyes scanning for anyone she could put in their place. Then she spotted her, a quiet woman in a simple dress, standing by the cake table. To Amelia, she looked out of place among all the high-profile guests. Maybe she was a server, or someone who snuck in, Amelia thought. Fueled by jealousy and a twisted sense of power, Amelia did something no one expected. She picked up a piece of the elegant wedding cake and, without a second thought, smeared it right across the woman's face in front of everyone. Gasps filled the room. Cameras flashed, but the woman didn't scream or cry. She just calmly wiped her face, looked Amelia straight in the eyes, and walked away without a word. Whispers spread through the crowd. But Amelia laughed it off, feeling untouchable as always. Little did she know, her cruel stunt would come back to haunt her in a way she could never imagine. The next morning, invitations went out for a private wedding ceremony. The billionaire groom was finally marrying his mysterious fiancée. When Amelia saw the bride step out of the limousine, her heart nearly stopped. It was the same woman whose face she'd covered in cake the night before. How would Amelia face her now? And what secret did this quiet bride hold that would change everything for Amelia? Amelia stood frozen by the entrance of the grand church, her mind racing as she watched the billionaire's bride walk gracefully down the aisle. The woman's face was calm, her smile soft, but her eyes held a quiet power that made Amelia's stomach twist with regret and fear. How could this nobody be marrying Nicholas Hartley, the billionaire every woman dreamed of? Amelia's hands trembled as she remembered the cake smeared on that flawless face just hours ago. Guests whispered around her, throwing curious glances her way. Amelia forced a smile, pretending nothing was wrong, but inside her mind was chaos. She replayed every moment from last night. Who was this woman really? Why hadn't she reacted with anger or tears? And why did Nicholas, the man known for being fiercely private, choose someone like her instead of one of the glamorous socialites in his circle? Amelia's thoughts drifted back to her own past with Nicholas. They weren't close, but she'd always dreamed he might notice her someday. She'd flaunted her money and connections at every party, hoping he'd see her as more than just another rich bridesmaid. But he never looked her way, not once. Now, standing here with a knot in her chest, she realized she'd made a huge mistake. She wanted to run, but her pride wouldn't let her as the ceremony began. Amelia's eyes stayed locked on the bride, trying to find any clue about her. How did she win Nicholas's heart? Why was her identity kept so secret? And most of all, what would happen when Nicholas found out how Amelia had humiliated his wife-to-be? One thing was clear. Amelia's perfect life of luxury and gossip was about to crash. She just didn't know how bad it would get or how soon it would start. After the ceremony, the grand reception hall glowed with crystal lights and soft music. Guests moved around with glasses of champagne, pretending not to stare at the new couple. Amelia stood near the corner, trying to stay invisible, but every so often she felt eyes on her. Whispers about the cake incident were spreading like wildfire, though no one dared say it to her face. She could feel her carefully built reputation slipping through her fingers, while Nicholas laughed with his bride and greeted guests. Amelia watched closely, searching for answers. She overheard an older woman saying the bride's name was Evelyn. No last name, no family there to introduce her. Just Evelyn, the billionaire's bride, who seemed to appear out of nowhere. Some people guessed she must be a foreign heiress. Others thought she was a secret business partner. Amelia knew she had to find out the truth before it destroyed her. She slipped away to a quieter hallway, dialing her best friend Clara, who knew everyone's secrets in their circle. "You have to help me," Amelia whispered into her phone. "Find out who this Evelyn really is. There's no record of her. It's like she didn't exist before last year." Clara promised to dig deeper, but warned Amelia to be careful. Nicholas was known for protecting the people he loved fiercely. Meanwhile, Evelyn slipped away from her new husband's side for a moment. She walked to the same hallway where Amelia was hiding. Their eyes met in the silence. Evelyn's calm smile sent chills down Amelia's spine. She didn't say a word about the cake, but her look said everything. Amelia tried to speak, but her throat went dry. She wondered if Evelyn had told Nicholas yet, or if she was saving that secret for the perfect moment to ruin Amelia's world completely. Evelyn didn't break eye contact as she stepped closer to Amelia. The soft music from the reception faded behind them, leaving only the sound of Amelia's heartbeat thudding in her ears. Evelyn leaned in just enough that Amelia could feel her calm breath. "Enjoying the party?" Evelyn asked softly, her tone polite but sharp enough to cut through Amelia's shaky smile. Amelia forced a small laugh, pretending nothing was wrong. But inside, she felt like she was standing on cracking ice. Before Amelia could reply, Nicholas's deep voice echoed down the hallway. He appeared beside Evelyn, wrapping an arm protectively around her waist. He glanced at Amelia with polite coldness, like she was just another guest he barely remembered. But Amelia could sense something in his eyes, a flicker that made her wonder if he knew what she'd done. Evelyn rested her hand on his chest and looked back at Amelia with that same unreadable smile. "We were just chatting," Evelyn said sweetly. Nicholas nodded once, but the weight of his stare made Amelia's knees weak. Back in the main hall, the party carried on, but Amelia couldn't enjoy any of it. Clara finally texted her a single line that made her blood run cold. "You need to leave." Now, Evelyn isn't who she says she is. But there was no time to ask for more. A waiter tapped Amelia's shoulder, handing her a note written in elegant handwriting. "Meet me in the garden." Now, no signature. No explanation. Amelia stepped outside. Into the night, her heels sinking into the soft grass. The garden was lit by fairy lights, shadows dancing across the stone path. She could hear laughter from inside, but out here it felt like another world. She kept glancing over her shoulder, half expecting Evelyn or Nicholas to appear behind her. Somewhere in the darkness, a figure moved. Amelia's breath caught in her throat as she realized this secret meeting could change everything or ruin her for good. Amelia froze when she saw the shadowy figure step out from behind the rose bushes. It wasn't Evelyn. It wasn't Nicholas. It was Clara, her loyal friend, looking more nervous than Amelia had ever seen her. Clara grabbed Amelia's arm and pulled her deeper into the garden, away from the soft glow of the fairy lights. "We don't have much time," Clara whispered, glancing back at the grand hall as if someone might be listening. Amelia's head spun. "What is going on? Who is Evelyn?" she hissed. Clara's eyes darted around before she pulled out her phone and showed Amelia a series of blurry photos. They were old pictures. Evelyn in a cheap cafe, Evelyn in a tiny apartment, Evelyn working behind a bakery counter. "Her real name is Emily Saunders," Clara said in a low voice. 5 years ago, she was drowning in debt. She worked at that bakery where Nicholas used to get his coffee every morning. Then she just vanished. Now she's back with a new name and a billionaire husband. Amelia's mouth went dry. None of it made sense. How did a poor baker become the billionaire's secret bride? Clara leaned closer. And there's more. Evelyn or Emily has been meeting with Nicholas's lawyer in secret. I think she owns part of his company now. She's not just his wife. She's about to control everything. Before Amelia could respond, a branch snapped nearby. Both women turned to see Evelyn standing at the edge of the path. But she wasn't alone. Behind her was Nicholas, his face hard to read in the flickering garden lights. Evelyn's calm smile was gone now, replaced by a cold, quiet power that made Amelia's knees tremble. "Having a nice chat out here?" Evelyn asked softly, but her voice sent a chill down Amelia's spine. She realized too late that this meeting in the garden wasn't a secret at all. It was exactly where Evelyn wanted her to be. Amelia's mouth opened, but no words came out. She looked from Evelyn to Nicholas, hoping for some sign of mercy. But Nicholas's eyes were cold as stone. Evelyn stepped forward, her heels crunching softly on the gravel. "I knew you'd come out here tonight," she said, her voice calm, but cutting through the night air like a knife. "You see, Amelia, you thought you could humiliate me and walk away like nothing happened. But you didn't know who I really am." Amelia tried to laugh it off. "Look, I didn't know," but Evelyn raised a hand and she fell silent. Nicholas stepped closer, placing a gentle hand on Evelyn's shoulder, his eyes never leaving Amelia. "Evelyn told me everything," he said, his voice steady but filled with quiet rage. "About the cake, about how you laughed when you did it, about how you and your friends talk about her behind her back." Clara shifted nervously beside Amelia, but she stayed silent. Evelyn took a deep breath and pulled out a folded piece of paper from her seat.